Anthropic was blacklisted by the US government and then used to drop 1,000 targets in Iran the same week. Was all of this written in the stars before it even happened? Stay tuned, I'm about to let you know. Was all of this written in the stars before Anthropic even existed, based on its astrology, based on its stars? I am a crypto astrologer. My name is Aura Wright. My website, aurawright.media. I have been practicing financial astrology for decades. I use my own proprietary method that I developed after I, over the past decades, started learning astrology when I was 9 years old. So I have a lot of experience with this. There is a battle right now between OpenAI and Anthropic. Anthropic's agents are called Claude. OpenAI, of course, is OpenAI. And there has been, so basically when the government got rid of Anthropic and made a contract with OpenAI, that contract was already prepared before the deadline for Anthropic to respond. And in fact, Trump put an end to the dealings, or verbally put an end to the dealings with Anthropic and their software prior to the deadline, and then they brought in OpenAI. Then over the following weekend, the public spoke, and this really is incredible because Anthropic is the only AI company that has had some lines in the sand, red lines of things they will not cross in defense of humanity. Things like not surveilling the population and not developing autonomous weapons. Those robot dogs from Black Mirror, that kind of thing. So they don't want to do that, okay? And that's part of what the battle was, okay? In the middle of all this, over the weekend, Anthropic's Claude skyrocketed to number 1 in the App Store and became the most used, most downloaded app after being somewhere much lower, okay? Their revenues have skyrocketed also because the public has spoken. The public went out and said, we want Claude, we don't want OpenAI, because at the same time there was a QuitOpenAI, trending hashtag all over Twitter. People were posting their quitting and their cancellations of their OpenAI plans. Okay, so this is really impacting the public, and the public is voting, okay, on what they feel about this situation. But this isn't the only news. Here's a quick news recap in 60 seconds. On February 25th, Anthropic drops its core safety pledge, right? The promise that made them the AI company with the soul, those 2 red lines in the sand, they dropped it. February 27th, Trump blacklists Anthropic. Pentagon designates them a supply chain risk, a label normally reserved only for foreign adversaries like Huawei, right? That's why we can't get Huawei phones in the US. February 27th, Dario Amodei refuses to bend, files lawsuit against the Pentagon. March 2nd, Claude crashes worldwide, unprecedented demand after the publicity. March 3rd, revenue run rate hits 19 billion, doubled in months while being blacklisted. A couple of notes on the Anthropic chart, just the signatures of the chart. There is a stellium in Aquarius in the Anthropic chart, which leads towards the idea of humanitarian and things for the greatest good of humanity, right? The planets in that stellium are the Sun, Saturn, and Jupiter. And this is setting up a major, major conflict, actually, because Jupiter and Saturn do not get along. They're very much on opposing directions and spectrums of the, energy. Also called the Great Conjunction, which is a battle for the well-being and the good over the darkness for all of humanity. Okay, this is a very, very critical thing, and Anthropic is leading on the bleeding edge of this situation. The Anthropic chart also has Moon in Scorpio, which is about deep, deep research, also sort of financial stuff, things that are about the collective energy of all of us combined and looking into the depths and having a research mind, right? So Anthropic is really good at doing the heavy lifting of all that kind of research and deep, deep knowledge, peering into the depths of information and compiling it and bringing it together. The Aquarius brings all that complexity, this mass data sets. And then the Scorpio is good at like diving in and finding the information. Also, there's some conflicting energy around Mercury and the mind and the ideas and the conversation related to Anthropic's chart. And of course, Mercury is very prominent in this chart because it was founded by siblings. A brother and a sister pair came and founded Anthropic. Now let's talk about what's coming next. Anthropic did take those lines out, and the government blacklisted Anthropic. So there's a lot of political stuff going on back and forth with this situation. But the point is, astrologically, this perfected at the exact dates when Hexeth came out and made the ultimatum to Anthropic. That happened on February 22nd, 23rd. That was exactly when Pluto started making its orb, and it came into orb and came into effect against Anthropic. So this is why the timing happened at that time. So here's what's coming next. Jupiter, which rules the law and legal contracts, and we have a lawsuit right now from Anthropic against the government. Jupiter is currently retrograde, and it turns direct on the 11th of March at 15 degrees 5 minutes of Cancer. This is also about the public. It's about humanity. It's about the population. So this is going to have an impact on us. This lawsuit also is delayed. It's in limbo until Jupiter turns direct. When Jupiter turns direct, blessings, good things, justice, they start to really move forward. Okay. We've also had recent big solar astrology aspects like the blood moon eclipse, which is all about justice. It's all about karmic retribution and karmic rebalancing. So that's taking place. This lawsuit will be delayed until the 11th, but we're going to hear some big news by then when that starts to happen, when we get to that changing of direction of Jupiter. Jupiter is currently square the natal chart Mars of Anthropic, which means that blessings, like too much of a good thing, too many new people, caused Anthropic to crash. It couldn't handle the popularity that it had. It couldn't deal with everything going in its direction. So it had to kind of get up to speed, right? So it was giving some outages. So when we get to the Jupiter direct, this is going to make a much broader impact along much larger swaths of the population. We could actually see a huge new wave of growth in Anthropic. This is not any kind of financial advice about Anthropic, but this is likely to happen. We're likely to see an even bigger groundswell in the direction towards adoption of Claude and Anthropic's tools, the Claude toolkit and the Claude suite of tools. So I'm going to go much deeper into this into part 2, which I will give for members, where I will go into another layer of the chart, which is something most astrologers don't use, but which called the timing of the exact time this whole thing detonated with Hexeth and the government. Okay, so that's going to be in part 2. Part 2 of this video is going to drop next week, so you can find that in the members area at aurawright.media. Every member gets notified. The video will go out to you guys. So I will get into a little more depth of this, including some longer term foresight into what's coming with Anthropic, and of course this battle between Anthropic and OpenAI, because OpenAI is also must be having some challenges, even though they did get the contract with the government. That might blow up in their faces. Anyway, that's it. Tell me what you think. Which one do you like? Do you like Anthropic? Do you like OpenAI? Do you hate them all? Do you like OLAMA? No drama with OLAMA. OLAMA has no drama right now. In case you don't know, OLAMA is a LLM, AI that does executive functioning. Anyway, talk to you later. Bye.